Hey guys, Icy here, and today we're going to talk about Misfortune, my Dragon Knight PvP healer. Timestamps will be in the description below. Okay, before I go into the gear, I will put a link in the description to a video I made on how I design my PvP healers. My builds are very formulaic when it comes to how I set up gear, weapons, enchants, traits, weights, and champion points, so if I don't mention it in this video, you know where to find it. Okay, let's talk about the gear, starting with the monster set. For the head and shoulders, we are using Chokethorn. It's got 1 line of Magicka recovery, and the second line reads, when you use a heal ability, you have a 33% chance to summon a Strangler sapling that heals you or an ally for X amount over 6 seconds. Chokethorn procs a lot in BGs, and I'm a big fan of it. I could have opted for Earthgore, but honestly, I'm just so sick and tired of Earthgore that I just don't want to use it anymore. When I was first trying out the DK healer, my overall healing output wasn't the greatest when you compare it to the Templar, Warden, or Necro, but using this set combined with the other 5-piece set, it really helps put DK on the map for healing. For weapons and jewelry, we are using Hades Hearth. It has a line of Magicka Recovery, and Max Magicka, and the 5th bonus reads, when you heal yourself or an ally with an ability, you gain a warming aura for 10 seconds. While in this warming aura, you and your group members restore X amount of health every 2 seconds, as well as reducing the cost of sprint, block, and roll dodge by 5%. This can occur once every 12 seconds, which just means that it has a 2-second downtime. I never used Hades before, and I'm really liking it a lot on the DK. As I mentioned with Chokethorn, the DK healing output doesn't compare like the other classes, but using Chokethorn combined with Hades really makes for a strong showing. I did try using Winter's Respite, however, I found out that the heal over time between Hades and Winter's Respite was very similar, and with how mobile fights are in BGs, Hades was the correct choice to make here. Now for the body pieces, I was testing out 2 sets. The first was Arcasis, which has a line of max health, armor, and max health, and the 5th line reads, whenever you drink a potion while in combat, you and 3 group members within 28 meters gain 44 ultimate. I'm a big fan of ultimate generation, and this set does come in clutch when you need to save a teammate and you don't have enough ultimate unless you use a potion to proc Arcasis. The second set I was testing was Beckoning Steel, which has a line of armor, max health, and armor. The 5th line reads, generate an aura that causes you and 11 group members within the aura to take 10% less damage from projectiles. This does not stack with other allies who might be wearing the set too. Now I like this a lot because I think it pairs really well with the warming aura from Hades, since they have about the same radius, and since I primarily duo queue for my BGs, I'm always sticking very close to my DPS, so these 2 sets work really great for that type of playstyle. For scales on our front bar, our first ability is Illustrious Healing. This is a great ground targeted heal over time. I usually throw this down first to set the stage to where the fight is going to be and just reapply it as we either move too far from it or if it just runs out. The second ability, I have 2 options here. The first is Healing Ward. This is a smart targeted damage shield that will also heal players if the damage shield does not break while it's on them, and the shield strength scales the lower the health of your ally. I'll use this ability whenever I see an ally take a ton of damage, and it is important to know that the damage shields are halved in PvP due to the Battle Spirit passive, and running this ability on the DK, I think it makes the class do really well as a PvP healer. The second option is Shattering Rocks. This ability will stun your target for 3 seconds, and after the stun ends or they break free, they will take damage and you are healed for X amount. When I was testing this ability out, it's literally so stupid how many kills you can line up because of it. You have so many people running around with high movement speed as their form of damage mitigation that once you lock them down, it's game over for them. So between these 2 abilities, if you want an offensive option, I would definitely go with Shattering Rocks, and if you want a defensive option, I would definitely go with Healing Ward. The third ability on the front bar is going to be Race Against Time. This is a staple in all of my PvP healer builds. This grants me Major Expedition for 4 seconds, as well as granting me that Snare, Immobilization, Cleanse, and Immunity. The fourth ability is Radiating Regeneration. This is a solid, smart, targeted heal over time that will heal 3 allies within range. I'll be honest, I feel like you're not a healer if you don't have this ability. The 5th ability is going to be Igneous Weapons. This grants Major Brutality and Sorcery to allies for 54 seconds. I think this is really strong in BGs, and it will also help boost your healing with that added spell and weapon damage. The front bar ultimate is going to be Life Giver. This is one of my favorite ultimates to use as a PvP healer. It has a really big heal over time for 5 seconds, and when you pair that with Radiating Regeneration, which is another heal over time, Blessing of Restoration, which provide a big burst heal as well as grant minor resolve for 16 seconds, and finally Healing Ward, which will grant a scalable damage shield on your ally based on their missing health and heal them if the shield doesn't break. and it only costs 125 ultimate. So yeah, it's really good. I use this ability so much during my BGs. On the back bar, our first ability is going to be Cinderstorm, which performs the same as Illustrious Healing. However, it has a small radius, lasts longer, and provides a 70% snare to any enemies that walk inside of it. I love stacking this with Illustrious Healing. These two abilities pair really great together. Our second ability is going to be Cauterize. I try to keep this active during fights since it will auto heal someone every 5 seconds. This will also act as my burst heal for my allies. It's not the best, but it's just what the DK class get off. Our third ability is going to be Coagulating Blood. This is our burst heal for ourselves when we get pressured. The fourth ability is going to be Energy Orb. I love this ability in PvP. It's a great little moving heal over time that will heal anyone within its 8-meter radius, and the synergy for your allies to activate for resources is always a solid bonus. Our fifth ability is going to be Hardened Armor. I like this because of the damage shield that comes with it when you activate it. Also, I notice my damage tends to be a lot higher on my DK compared to my other PvP healers, and I think it's because of the other part of this ability where it returns damage whenever damage is done to me. It's a nice little bonus that comes with the DK. Our back bar ultimate is going to be Magma Armor. I really like this ability because when I'm in trouble or taking a lot of pressure, I can activate this and get massive damage reduction. Equally, it will also place a damage shield on any allies near me for 50% of their max health in PvP. This is insanely good, and with the crazy proc meta that's going on right now with Dark Convergence, I found this ability to be a perfect fit. So for flex options, right now these are my two favorite setups. Version 1 being Shattering Rocks, and then version 2 being Healing Ward. I think for core abilities on the DK, I would probably recommend keeping this setup right here. On the front bar, Illustrious Healing, Race Against Time, Radiating Regeneration, Igneous Weapons, and Life Giver. And then on the back bar, Cinderstorm, Cauterize, Coagulating Blood, and Hardened Armor. This leaves room for one ability on your front and back bar, as well as a new back bar ultimate. For alternative ultimates, I'd recommend choosing either Barrier, Sturdy Horn, or Shifting Standard. For alternative skills on the front bar, I'd recommend either Burning Embers, Engulfing Flames, Obsidian Shard, Blessing of Restoration, Quick Siphon, or Overflowing Altar. For alternative skills on the back bar, I recommend using Defensive Stance, Protective Plate, or Fragmented Shield. Okay, for combat tips for this build or just PvP healing in general, the first is to build your house, Illustrious Healing into Cinderstorm into Energy Orb. This sets the stage of where the fights will be as well as where you want to hang out. Number 2 is to always heavy attack whenever possible. This is for 2 reasons. The first is for resources. I can honestly say that I never have sustain issues because I heavy attack so much, and the second is because we are always trying to proc Major Mending, which will boost our healing by 16%. And number 3, if you can't heavy attack, always try to light attack. This is less so for damage, but more so to build ultimate. One light attack will generate 30 ultimate over 10 seconds, so if I can manage to hit someone once and then not get into a fight, that's still a win for me because now I have 30 more ultimate than I did before. Number 4 is to line of sight. Utilize your terrain to mitigate damage. Whenever I find myself dead, it's usually because I'm just taking too much upfront damage in a wide open area, and part of what allows me to survive so long is because I always try to utilize terrain whenever we're fighting. This makes those 2vx situations much more successful. And finally, number 5, use your ultimate. I see a lot of people always sitting on their ultimates when they could have saved a teammate. Don't take the risk and think you can heal them. Use your ultimate. My rule of thumb is my back bar ultimate has a higher cost and my front bar ultimate has a lower cost. The back bar ultimate you use to start the fight, and the front bar ultimate you use throughout the fight. Of course, there are moments when it is low pressure and you don't need to use an ultimate, and that's totally fine, but just use those opportunities to light and heavy attack so you can build ultimate and be ready for anything when it comes by. Okay, that's the end of the build video. The DK healer is a lot of fun and it's a breath of fresh air. I certainly enjoyed playing this class a lot as a PvP healer, especially in the beginning when I was struggling so much, but I'm glad I stuck it out. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the video, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. See ya.